Welcome to Starbound. My name's the Voice Ogre, and I'll be your narrator today. Nearly 500 supporters get early access to our stories, including brand new stories of Sunspire Academy, which I happen to do, and Freyrin and Rimiki. If you'd like to unlock early access and support new episodes and future series, tap Join below to become a Starbound member. Now, let's get into today's story. The alarms hit at 03:47 hours GMT. Colonel David Park's boots pound against concrete as he races through the underground corridors of Earth Defense Command. The facility, buried beneath Cheyenne Mountain, hasn't seen this level of activity since the last nuclear close call. Red lights strobe across blast doors as Park begins through checkpoint after checkpoint. As Park barges through checkpoint after checkpoint, his mind already cataloging possibilities: asteroid impact, nuclear launch, or first contact, General Morrison says as Park bursts into the Situation Room, and it's not friendly. The main screen fills with horror. Park watches alien ships methodically destroying a planet, beams of superheated plasma carving continents like a Thanksgiving turkey. The image shifts. Another world, this one dying under kinetic bombardment, then another, and another. How long has this been playing? Park asks, his analytical mind already working. 3 hours, Morrison replies. It's on every frequency, every satellite, every... Wait. Park holds up a hand, moving closer to the screen. A massive dreadnought fires its main gun, and in the bloom of plasma discharge, Park sees it. A flicker. A pattern. Can you replay that segment? Colonel, we're watching the end of civilizations here, and... Which is exactly why we need to replay it. Park's fingers fly across his tablet, mirroring to the main display. There, watch the plasma cannon cycle rate. The weapon fires again. Park starts counting under his breath. His Korean grandmother's lessons about pattern recognition flooding back. She'd survived occupation by memorizing Japanese patrol schedules. Same principle, different scale. 17 seconds, Park announces. Their main guns take 17 seconds to cycle, every single time. The room falls silent, except for the sounds of extinction playing on repeat. Give me a tech team, Park orders, his tablet already filling with notes. And someone find me a physicist who isn't having a panic attack. We just got handed the most comprehensive intelligence briefing in military history. Aboard the Council dreadnought Inevitable Truth, Fleet Commander Thoknal observes the primitive world's communications with deep satisfaction. His 6 eye stalks swivel independently, tracking data streams across the bridge's displays. Earth, such an inefficient name for a planet, buzzes with panicked transmissions.
The warning has been received,
Sub-Commander Krijan reports, his smaller form deferring appropriately.
Their communication network shows extreme distress patterns.
As expected. Thoknal's primary voice sac inflates with authority. Begin the ritual of concluded conquest. The bridge crew rises, their chittering harmonies filling the command space with ancient celebration. 3,847 species have received this warning. All have either surrendered within one planetary rotation or been reduced to stellar debris. The ritual commemorates another victory. Their military capabilities? Thoknal inquires, though he already knows the answer will be amusing. Krijan manipulates the tactical display.
Chemical rockets for spaceflight. Kinetic projectiles for primary armament. Crude fission weapons in limited quantities. They haven't even achieved sustainable fusion.
And their response time?
Based on previous species of similar development.
Krijan performs rapid calculations.
3 cycles for complete surrender. 5 at most if they attempt negotiation.
Thoknal's feeding appendages twitch in what his species considers laughter. Set course for the staging area. Standard deployment pattern. We'll be home before the tide feast. The Inevitable Truth turns with ponderous grace. its escort fleet falling into perfect formation. 4,000 years of conquest have honed their movements to algorithmic precision. No variables, no surprises. No species has ever required a second warning. 6 hours after first contact, Park has transformed Conference Room 7 into a war room. The Joint Chiefs sit around the table, their faces ranging from shell-shocked to furious. On the screens, Park's presentation dissects 3 hours of genocide. Frame 1847. His laser pointer traces a nimbus around an alien fighter. Note the shield distortion during atmospheric entry. The field oscillates at regular intervals. Here, here, and here. Frequency bleeding at predictable points. Major Travis Mitchell, Park's second-in-command, translates from his position against the wall. His Texas drawl cuts to the tension. What the colonel's saying is that their shield's got a timing gap, like a boxing defense. Hands can't be everywhere at once. Frame 2293. Park advances the footage. The ground assault plays out. 6-legged warriors in powered armor sweeping through what might have been a school. Watch their movement pattern. Always bearing left through doorways. Always. Their armor has a sensor blind spot on the right side. Admiral Micah interrupts. Colonel, we're watching the extinction of entire species, and you're taking notes. I'm taking notes because we're watching extinctions, Admiral. Park pulls up a new slide, a graph showing industrial output comparisons. Every species they've shown us, pre-industrial or barely spacefaring, limited manufacturing base, centralized populations, but look at Earth's numbers. The graph tells a story of distributed chaos. Factories on every continent, 68 countries with independent military production, a population that treats paranoia as a survival trait. They've never fought anyone who could build 1 million rifles in a month, Park continues. Or retrofit car factories into tank plants, or... How long? The president's voice cuts through the briefing via secure link. How long do you need to mount a defense? Park's already done the calculations. Retooling factories, training crews, building ships from scratch. 6 months minimum, Madam President. 8 would be better. The astronomical data shows that they'll be here in 4. The room erupts. Voices overlap. Suggestions of negotiation, nuclear first strikes, evacuation plans that everyone knows are fantasy. Park lets them rage for exactly 30 seconds, then slams his tablet on the table. We have 4 months to build a military designed to fight one specific enemy. An enemy that just showed us exactly how they fight. He brings up the final slide. Earth's industrial heartland, already mobilizing. They think they might be scaring us with this warning. They are actually teaching us how to kill them. Dr. Yuri Volkov arrives at Area 51 at sunset, his ancient Lada's engine coughing its last as he parks between 2 black SUVs. The Russian physicist looked like he slept in his clothes, which he has, having driven straight from Los Alamos after Park's call. Dr. Volkov, a lieutenant waits at the gate. Colonel Park is expecting you. Da, we do it. Volkov lights a cigarette, ignoring the no-smoking signs. Though I should mention, my expertise is in weapons that violate treaties, not aliens. The expanded facility buzzes with activity. 3 hangars have been cleared and converted into Xenological Warfare Division, a name Park coined on the fly and the Pentagon approved in record time. Inside Hangar 2, wall-sized screens display the Council's greatest hits on loop. Colonel Park. Volkov extends a nicotine-stained hand. I see you've started the party without me. Dr. Volkov. Park gestures to the screens. Tell me what you see. Volkov studies the footage, ash dropping unnoticed from his cigarette. A plasma beam vaporizes a city, and he leans forward, rewinds, watches again. On the 7th viewing, He laughs. A harsh sound that makes nearby technicians nervous.
Watch moi! The idiots are using magnetic bottles.
He's at the screen now, drawing directly on it with a marker, his cigarette forgotten between his lips.
Look, helical containment pattern. You see how they place my spirals? Well, they're using tokamak principles, but with reversed polarity.
Can we stop it? Volkov's grin could strip paint.
Stop it. Colonel, we could make them blow up their own guns.
He's already at a whiteboard, equations flowing in Cyrillic annotated mathematics.
Their plasma requires specific magnetic frequencies to maintain coherence. Disrupt the frequency.
He draws an explosion with a flourish.
Boom! Backfire into their own ships.
How do we disrupt it?
Ceramic composite with embedded metallic lattice. When plasma hits, the lattice creates interference patterns.
Volkov grabs a welding torch from a confused technician.
Here, I show you.
Within minutes, he's fabricated a crude test piece. A torch flame, a primitive plasma analog, hits the surface and spreads harmlessly, its energy dissipating in brilliant but harmless light.
Now,
Volkov says, admiring his work,
we make billion pieces, da.
3 weeks after first contact, Thoknal reviews intelligence reports with growing puzzlement. The expected patterns aren't manifesting. No mass suicides, no governmental collapse, no desperate attempts at negotiation.
Sub-Commander.
He summons Krijan.
Explain these readings.
Krijan's eye stalks droop, a sign of uncertainty.
Fleet Commander, the humans appear to be mobilizing.
For evacuation?
No, Fleet Commander. For production.
The tactical display fills with satellite imagery.
Every industrial facility on their planet has shifted to continuous operation. Military forces are conducting non-stop exercises. New orbital installations are under construction.
Thoknal's primary arm dismisses the data.
Terror response. They build weapons to feel control. Even knowing such weapons are useless. We've seen this pattern of behavior in 17% of warned species.
With respect, Fleet Commander.
Krijan pulls up specific images. Human soldiers navigate mock corridors, their movements precisely countering Council sweep patterns.
They're training to fight us, specifically us.
Impossible. They've had no contact with Council forces.
They've had the warning, Fleet Commander. 3 hours of our combat procedures.
Thoknal's eye stalks go rigid. His species' equivalent of narrowed eyes. But 4,000 years of precedent speak louder than one junior officer's concerns.
Continue monitoring. Alert me to any actual developments.
Krijan withdraws, but continues his analysis. Something is different about these humans. Their response doesn't fit any established pattern, and patterns, as the Council knows, are everything. 2 months after first contact, Detroit. Park stands on the factory floor, watching history roll off the assembly line. The M3A7 Council Killer main battle tank represents 2 months of frantic development. Its angular hull is covered in Volkov's anti-plasma ceramic, while the turret sports a railgun specifically calibrated to punch through Council hull composites.
It's beautiful, isn't she?
Mitchell runs a hand along the armor.
Volkov says the ceramic will disperse plasma across the whole surface, turn a kill shot into a light show.
The railgun?
Muzzle velocity of Mach 12. Tungsten penetrators with a ferrous core. Based on the whole composition we saw in the footage, it should punch through their armor like tissue paper.
Around them, the factory hums with purpose. Workers pull triple shifts, sleeping in the break rooms, living on caffeine and determination. The same scene plays out across the planet. Chinese factories producing disruption warheads, Brazilian shipyards launching patrol craft, European facilities manufacturing powered armor based on Council weaknesses. Park drafts Earth's response on his tablet, choosing each word carefully. To the Galactic Council. Earth acknowledges receipt of your comprehensive tactical education materials. Your detailed demonstrations of combat procedures, weapon capabilities, and strategic doctrine have proved invaluable to our defensive preparations. We thank you for this generous gift of intelligence. Sincerely, the United Earth Defense Force. You really gonna send that? Mitchell asks, reading over his shoulder. They expect fear or defiance, so let's give them confusion. Park hits send. Besides, it's the only polite way to say thank you. Thoknal receives Earth's transmissions during the contemplation of victory, a daily ritual where he reviews past conquests. His translator struggles with the message, running it through multiple interpretation algorithms.
They express gratitude?
The communication officer's voice sacs flutter in confusion.
For the warning. Repeat the translation.
The message plays again and again. Each iteration confirms the impossible. Earth has thanked them for showing how they destroy civilizations.
Summon the command staff.
Thoknal orders, his earlier certainty cracking like faulty armor. Within minutes, his senior officers assemble. The message plays on the main display, each word a violation of 4,000 years of precedent.
Analysis,
Thoknal demands. Krijan steps forward, data tablet in hand.
Earth's industrial output has increased 400% in 2 months. Their military hardware shows specific adaptations to counter our capabilities.
The tactical display fills with human innovations. Tanks with anti-plasma armor, aircraft designed to exploit Council fighter blind spots, naval vessels carrying railguns calibrated to Council shield frequencies.
They're using our warning as a technical manual,
Krijan concludes.
Every weapon we demonstrated, they developed counters. Every tactic we showed, they've created responses.
Impossible.
Thoknal's voice sacs boom.
No species possesses such adaptive capability.
The humans appear to be an exception, Fleet Commander.
Thoknal studies the data, his perfect record crumbling in his mind. These primitives haven't just refused to surrender, they've transformed a psychological weapon into practical intelligence.
Accelerate our deployment,
he orders.
Maximum thrust to their system. We crush them before this disease of defiance spreads.
Fleet Commander,
his navigation officer protests.
Maximum thrust will stress our drives. Protocol dictates.
I am protocol.
Thoknal's decision resonates through the fleet.
Ready all weapons. Prepare for contested arrival. These humans want to fight the Galactic Council. Let them learn why we have never lost a war.
Park's command center has evolved into Earth's central nervous system. Screens cover every wall, displaying real-time data from across the planet. The coffee maker hasn't stopped running in 6 weeks. Update from Beijing, a technician calls out. Factory Complex 7 just hit their 1000th disruption warhead. Tel Aviv reports a successful test of electronic warfare package. Another adds, 90% success rate jamming Council targeting frequencies. Park moves between stations, processing information and issuing orders. On his main screen, a global map shows humanity's transformation. Green dots mark completed defense installations. Blue indicates retrofitted factories. Red shows combat training facilities running Council scenarios. Mitchell enters with a tablet. There's some you need to see, Colonel. North and South Korea just announced joint military exercises. Well, the Council threat achieved what 100 years of diplomacy couldn't. Park allows himself a thin smile. What's their focus? Ambush tactics. They're using Council urban combat footage to design kill zones. Turns out our city's chaotic layout's an advantage. Council forces always move in predictable patterns through structured environments. Park's grandmother would appreciate the irony. She had survived Japanese occupation by memorizing protocol schedules, turning their discipline against them. Now, he's applying her lessons to creatures from beyond the stars. Sir! The communications officer voice carries urgency. Detecting massive tachyon surge at the system edge. They're speeding up. They're scared. Park hits the general alert. All stations, this is command. Council forces arriving ahead of schedule. I say again, Council forces arriving early. All units to ready positions. The command center explodes into controlled chaos. 60 days early meant 60 days less preparation. But it also meant something else. Earth had genuinely frightened the Galactic Council. Mitchell, implement Matador Protocol. It's time to see if our homework really paid off. 3 months after contact, Nevada Desert. Underground Bunker 12. Volkov hasn't slept in 48 hours, fueled by caffeine, nicotine, pharmaceutical-grade methamphetamine, and the pure joy of solving an impossible problem. Before him sits his masterpiece, a warhead that shouldn't exist. Explain it again, Park says, studying the device with professional interest. Slowly. Just pretend I didn't fail physics.
It is simple.
Volkov's hands dance as he talks.
Council shields operate on harmonic frequencies, you see? So we use this as their combat footage. We see this, that? Yes, so every energy weapon creates a delta resonance. So...
He pats the warhead like a beloved pet.
We create opposing resonance. Cancel their frequency with our frequency. Shield doesn't just fail, it inverts. Turns their own protection into a bomb.
And you're certain this will work?
Certain? Yet. But physics is physics, even for aliens, huh?
Volkov lights another cigarette, ignoring radiation warnings.
We test now?
The test target, a replica of Council armor based on video analysis, sits in the blast chamber. Volkov's warhead launches, a simple rocket carrying desperate science. Impact. The explosion tears through barriers rated for nuclear blasts. The observation bunker shakes. When the dust clears, nothing remains of the target except molecular vapor. Volkov whispers, then louder.
It works! The fucker's own shields amplified the blast! I am a genius!
Park's already calculating. How many can you build?
With full production? Thousands. Tens of thousands.
Volkov grins through the smoke.
We turn their invincibility into their funeral pyre.
Kijan studies the data with growing alarm. Earth's adaptation hasn't just continued, it's accelerated. His tactical displays show human forces conducting exercises that perfectly counter Council doctrine.
Fleet Commander?
He approaches Thoknal carefully.
I must present disturbing findings.
Speak.
Earth's new fleet incorporates precise counters to our weapons. Observe. Heat sinks positioned at our typical plasma impact points. Armor thickness varied to match our own penetration depths. Point defense calibrated to our fighter speeds.
The evidence is undeniable. Every human ship bristles with purpose-built weapons. Not general defenses, but specific counters to Council technology.
Furthermore,
Krijan continues,
their ground forces train exclusively in anti-Council tactics. Boarding teams drill on ship layouts matching our standard configurations. Fighter pilots practice maneuvers that break our target locks.
Show me,
Thoknal demands. The display shifts to human combat exercises. Marines navigate mock corridors. placing breaching charges at exact structural weak points. Tank crews exploit the 17-second reload gap. Fighter pilots spiral through maneuvers that Council targeting systems can't track.
They're not preparing for war,
Krijan concludes.
They're preparing for a war with us, specifically and exclusively.
Thoknal's eye stalks swivel through emotions his species rarely experiences, each one rotating independently before snapping into rigid parallel alignment. Uncertainty, concern, and buried deepest, fear. His feeding appendages retract completely into his thorax, an involuntary response his kind hasn't shown since they were prey animals in their primordial oceans.
Double our thrust,
he orders.
Burn the drives if necessary. These humans have done the impossible. They have turned our warning into weapons. But still, they face the might of the Galactic Council. No species has withstood our full assault.
Fleet Commander,
Krijan ventures carefully.
Perhaps negotiation.
No! We are the Council. We do not negotiate with primitives.
Thoknal's voice sacks thunder.
Ready all weapons. Prepare for immediate combat upon arrival. If these humans have learned to counter our standard tactics, we will show them why the Council has conquered for 4 millennia.
But as his fleet burns toward Earth at dangerous speeds, Thoknal can't silence the whisper of doubt. In 4,000 years, no species has ever said, thank you. What else might these humans do that no species has done before? 1 month before revised Council arrival, Luna shipyards. Park floats in zero gravity, watching humanity's answer to extinction take shape. The EDS Stalingrad isn't pretty. The cargo hauler's hull wrapped in armor, bristling with all manner of cobbled-together weapons. But she's built to kill Council ships, and that's all that matters.
Ugly as homemade sin,
Mitchell comments over the comm.
but she'll fight.
Through the viewport, Earth's fleet assembles. Passenger liners converted to missile platforms, mining ships mounting railguns, freight runners transformed into fighters. Each design exploits weaknesses revealed in the Council's warning.
Sir,
The shipyard commander approaches.
the stolen glass ready for trials. You want to give her a shakedown?
Let's see what she can do. The trials exceed expectations. Volkov's armor shrugs off plasma simulation. Railguns punch through target drones at ranges Council doctrine says are impossible. Point defense systems track fighters moving at Council attack speeds. How many ships are operational? Park asks.
47 combat ready. Another 30 in 2 weeks.
Not enough. Not nearly enough. But each ship is designed to punch above its weight, built with one purpose: killing Council vessels. Mitchell joins Park at the viewport. Remember the Alamo? 189 defenders against thousands. Park nods. They lost. Yeah, but they made Santa Ana pay for every inch. And Houston learned from their sacrifice. Mitchell gestured at Earth's motley fleet. Maybe we can't win, but we can make them bleed. Show the galaxy that they're not gods. Upload all combat recordings to emergency broadcast beacons. Park orders. If we fall, we are taking their reputation with us. Thoknal's fleet exits hyperspace like an avalanche of metal and malice. 2 weeks early, drives screaming from abuse, but intact, the Council has arrived to deliver judgment.
Report,
Thoknal demands.
Multiple contacts.
His sensor officer's voice sacs flutter in confusion.
Detecting mines? The humans have mined approach vectors.
Impossible. Those vectors are classified Council safe zones established by 4,000 years of protocol. No species should. The first explosions silence his thoughts. Proximity mines, crude but effective, tear into his lead destroyers. shields flare and die in cascading rainbow patterns as Volkov's disruption warheads find their marks. The view screen whites out from the glare, leaving purple afterimages in Thoknal's vision.
Evasive action! All ships!
Fighter screens launch from hidden bases on asteroids, erupting from camouflaged hangar doors and clouds of regolith. Railguns spit tungsten death at velocities Council shields couldn't track. The safe approach has become a killing field of kinetic murder and nuclear fire.
Return fire! All weapons!
But the human fighters dance through the formations, exploiting blind spots identified from the warning footage. They know exactly where Council weapons can't target, know exactly how long shields take to recycle, know every weakness because the Council showed them.
Fleet Commander,
Krijan reports, his voice steady despite the chaos.
the humans prepared this ambush specifically for our standard deployment. They knew we'd exit here, knew our formation. We must regroup.
Thoknal watches another destroyer die, its own shields turned against it by impossible human weapons. His perfect record, his unstoppable fleet, bleeding from the first moments of engagement.
Full assault!
He orders, rage overcoming 4 millennia of protocol.
All ships advance! Show these primitives the price of defiance!
The Battle of Luna has begun. Park watches the tactical display with grim satisfaction. The ambush has exceeded projections. 7 Council ships damaged or destroyed in the first 90 seconds. But now comes the real test.
They're advancing in apex formation,
The sensor tech reports.
just like in the hegemony footage.
Of course they are. Park activates prepared commands. Execute Matador. All units, weapons free. Hidden missile batteries reveal themselves, targeting exact positions where apex formation creates sensor shadows. Earth's defenders know where every blind spot forms because they studied the same formation, crushing the hegemony and the warning. Volkov's warheads streak through space, finding gaps in overlapping shields. Council vessels, invulnerable for 4 millennia, begin to burn. The Stalingrad leads the Earth's countercharge, her ugly hull shrugging off plasma fire as railguns punch through alien armor.
Sir, Mitchell's team has boarded the destroyer.
Park switches to helmet cam footage. Mitchell's Marines flow through corridors like water, placing charges at structural points revealed on the warning. Every corner cleared, every room breached according to patterns learned from watching Council forces do the same to others.
Demo set.
Mitchell reports.
Hauling ass to extraction.
The certainty's edge dies from within. Explosions chaining through systems the Council never thought the enemies would understand. 12 minutes from boarding to destruction, faster than the Council's own elite troops.
My God,
Someone whispers.
we're actually winning.
No, Park corrects. We're surviving.
There is a difference.
The tactical display tells the truth. For every Council ship destroyed, 3 more advance. Earth's fleet bleeds heroes with every exchange, but something has changed in the geometry of battle. The Council forces move with less certainty, react with hesitation. They're afraid. Aboard the inevitable truth, Thoknal watches the impossible unfold. His invincible fleet, the same force that had crushed civilizations for 4 millennia, is being systematically torn apart by primitives using improvised weapons.
Fleet Commander!
Krijan's voice carries something Thoknal has never heard. Panic.
The humans have breached 3 more vessels. They're using our own boarding protocols against us, but backwards. They know exactly where we're vulnerable.
The tactical display shows the awful truth. Human Marines strike at precise weak points, their charges placed with surgical accuracy. Fighter craft exploit blind spots that shouldn't be known. Capital ships fire weapons that turn Council advantages into liabilities. And then, Thoknal sees it. Truly sees it. The human fleet isn't just fighting, they are broadcasting. Every spectrum floods with combat footage, streaming live to anyone with receivers. The galaxy watches the Galactic Council bleed.
The SAR disruptor has launched.
Sensor control reports.
Massive energy signature detected.
What is a SAR disrupt?
The weapon detonates in the heart of his fleet. Not a simple nuclear device, but something far worse. A resonance bomb designed using the Council's own shield frequencies against them. The quantum cascade tears through standardized systems, each ship's defenses becoming its executioner. Secondary explosions chain through the fleet. Vessels designed to be invulnerable to anything except their own weapons discover that human innovation has made that exception reality.
Fleet Commander!
Krijan stands at his station, data tablet trembling in his grip.
30% casualties. Our formations are compromised. The humans continue to broadcast our losses.
Thoknal's eye stalks swivel to the display showing Earth's casualties. The primitives have paid dearly. Cities burn, millions dead. But they keep fighting, each loss teaching them new ways to kill Council forces.
They learned,
he whispers.
We showed them our victories, and they learned how to make us lose.
Park coordinates the defense from his bunker, watching numbers that tell a story of sacrifice. Beijing, gone. London, burning. 30 million dead and climbing. But humanity holds. Council forces regrouping beyond Luna, the tactical officer reports. Looks like they're reassessing. They still outnumber us 3-1. Park studies the display, but they're hesitating. Mitchell, status? Captured 3 intact birds, Colonel. Volkov's already aboard one, and he is giggling like a schoolgirl. Says that their tech is beautiful but stupid. Park allows himself a moment of satisfaction. In 4 months, humanity has done the impossible, stood against the Galactic Council and made them blink. But the cost? Sir, incoming transmission from the Council flagship. They're requesting communication. On screen. Thoknal appears, his alien features unreadable, but his body language screaming uncertainty. When he speaks, auto-translators render his words in flat English.
Humans, you have fought with unexpected capability. The Council acknowledges your resourcefulness.
Commander Thoknal, if our intelligence is not mistaken, Park keeps his voice steady. Thank you again for the comprehensive tactical data. Your warning proved most educational. The alien's eye stalks go rigid.
You mock the Council.
We thank the Council. Your demonstration taught us everything that we needed to know about fighting you. Every weakness, every blind spot, every predictable pattern in 4,000 years of victories.
Silence! The Council does not.
The galaxy's watching, Commander. Park gestures to the communication display. We found more friends among the stars that requested copies of our combat recordings. They want to learn what we learned. Your warning has become everyone's tactical manual. The truth hits Thoknal. Every future conflict will begin with enemies studying the warning, finding weaknesses, preparing counters. The Council's greatest psychological weapon has become the blueprint of their defeat. Furthermore, Park continues, we are transmitting these technical specifications for every weapon that we've developed. The ceramic armor formula, the disruption warhead schematics, the railgun configurations. Consider it our gift to the galaxy. A warning about the Council. Krijan approaches his commander carefully. The bridge crew maintains their stations, but uncertainty pollutes the air like radiation.
Fleet Commander,
He speaks softly.
the human speaks truth. Our warning protocol has become our greatest vulnerability, for every species will demand to see it, and hidden within our demonstrations
Are the keys to our destruction.
Thoknal finishes. 4,000 years of military doctrine, shattered by primitives who said thank you for the lesson. The tactical display shows the human fleet, bloodied but unbroken, each ugly ship a testament to rapid adaptation. Beyond them, Earth burns but persists, and across the galaxy, encrypted transmissions carry footage of Council forces dying.
Options?
Thoknal asks, though he already knows.
Continue the assault. We have numerical superiority. Victory is possible, though costly.
Krijan pauses.
But every loss will be broadcast, every weakness further exposed. Win or lose, the Council's reputation dies today.
Or?
Withdrawal. Preserve the fleet. Maintain the fiction of invincibility for species who haven't seen the broadcasts. Try to control the narrative.
Thoknal's decision will echo through history. Press forward and risk total defeat being broadcast to the Empire. Retreat and abandon 4 millennia of demonstrated supremacy. The human ships advance, weapons charged. They move with confidence now. Predators who've tasted blood. Each vessel broadcasted sensor data, sharing tactical information real time. They've learned cooperation from the Council's coordinated assaults.
Fleet Commander?
Krijan prompts.
Your orders.
Around them, ships burn. The warning has become prophecy, but not as intended. The humans were warned of their destruction and instead learned to be destroyers.
Signal the fleet.
Thoknal's voice carries 4,000 years of pride dying.
Strategic withdrawal. Immediate departure.
They retreat orders through the Council fleet. Engines designed for inevitable victory now power desperate escape. But the humans don't pursue. They continue broadcasting, letting the galaxy watch the Galactic Council run. Victory at sunset. Park stands in the ruins of Earth Defense Command's secondary facility, the primary bunker buried under Beijing's rubble. The tactical display shows Council forces fleeing at maximum burn, leaving disabled ships and abandoned technology in their wake.
Sir,
The communications officer voice cracks with exhaustion and wonder.
we're receiving encrypted messages, dozens of them, all requesting our combat data.
Open source it all, Park orders. Every tactic, every weapon, every weakness that we found. The Council taught us to fight them, and now we teach the galaxy. Mitchell enters, still in scorched armor. 3 captured destroyers secured. Volkov's team is stripping them down. Says he'll have directed energy weapons online within a month. Casualties? Still counting. Mitchell's voice drops.
But we held. We fucking held.
Park looks at the display showing Earth, scarred but alive. Cities can be rebuilt. The dead will be mourned. But humanity has given the galaxy something priceless. Proof that the Council can lose. Draft a final message to the Council, Park says. Keep it simple. To the Galactic Council, thank you for showing us exactly how to beat you. We're sharing the lesson with everyone. Love, Earth. 6 years after the Battle of Luna. The Alliance of Free Worlds convenes in what was once Thoknal's throne room, the captured dreadnought now serving as headquarters for revolution. 7 species sit at the table, each having studied Earth's victory and found their own courage. Park addresses the assembly, noting how each species applied human tactics differently. The hegemony used their hive mind to coordinate perfect ambushes. The Kvari turned their natural camouflage into boarding team advantages. The Sheltek adapted their asteroid mining equipment into weapons platforms. The Council's warning was meant to paralyze us with fear, Park says, and instead it became our education. They showed us their strengths, thinking we'd see invincibility. We saw weaknesses disguised as advantages. Behind him, the main display shows the state of the galaxy. Red marks systems in revolt. Blue indicates successful liberation. The Council's empire contracts daily, each victory broadcast to inspire the next. Earth began this revolution not through strength, but through perspective. Park gestures to the assembled species. We saw their warning differently. Where others saw doom, we saw data. Where they demonstrated power, we documented patterns. Their greatest weapon became our greatest gift. In his cell aboard the human battlecruiser Stalingrad, Thoknal sits in defeat. His rank stripped, his fleet scattered, his empire crumbling. The guards are polite, professionally courteous in victory. They bring him meals and water and videos. Always videos. Today's selection shows the Pentari liberation, the species that submitted to council rule 3 centuries ago, now free. They used human railgun designs adapted to their crystalline technology. Their fighters exploited the same blind spots Mitchell's Marines discovered. Their victory broadcast joins thousands of others. Major Mitchell enters, tablet in hand. I thought you want to see this, Commander. The Variety just took down a council using your own apex formation against them. Now, it turns out that if you know where the blind spots form, he shrugs. Well, you know better than me.
Why?
Thoknal asks.
Why show me this?
It's the same reason that y'all sent us that warning. Mitchell pulls up a chair, sitting casually. Education. You see, you taught us that showing someone their destruction could break their spirit. Now, we're teaching you something different.
Which is?
That showing someone their mistakes can break their empire. Mitchell stands to leave. Your warning created us, Commander. Every species that fights free learned from what you taught Earth. So in a way, you're the father of the revolution. Alone again, Thoknal considers the truth. 4,000 years of military dominance, ended not by superior weapons or larger fleets, but by the simple act of showing enemies how you fight. The Council's warning echoes through the galaxy still, but now it carries a different message. Not of inevitable defeat, but of possible victory. The compilation of destruction has become an instruction manual for liberation. And it all began with 2 words no conquered species had ever said. Thank you. 10 years after first contact. Park stands on the observation deck of the renamed vessel Remember Beijing, formerly the Council dreadnought Inevitable Truth. Earth's scars heal slowly. Cities rising from ashes, memorials marking the fallen. But humanity looks outward now, part of a larger community. The Alliance of Free Worlds spans 30 systems and growing. Each species brings their own innovations, their own applications of the lessons learned. The galaxy's balance is shifted, and at the center sits a small blue planet that refused to be afraid. Colonel, his aide approaches. The Kvari delegation has arrived. They're requesting access to our combat recordings from the Siege of Titan. Granted. Park watches Earth from below. Full access to everything. We learned from the Council's example. Knowledge of how to fight should never be hoarded. On his desk, a simple plaque bears the motto of Earth's Defense Force. From warning to wisdom. Below it, the original thank you note to the Council, framed in Volkov's anti-plasma ceramic. The physicist himself enters, bearing vodka and good news.
Yeah, we cracked the FTL drive. Turns out the same frequency vulnerability works on their engines. So you give us 6 months and we'll have ships that can match their speed.
The Council?
Latest intelligence says they've withdrawn their core systems. 15 member species have declared independence. Their warning protocol has been officially discontinued.
Volkov pours drinks.
They're learning to fear the warned.
Park raises his glass. To the Council, for teaching us everything we needed to know.
For being stupid.
They drink to Earth's salvation, born from humanity's strangest weapon. The ability to see a threat as a gift. A warning as a manual, and certain doom as a problem to be solved. In the depths of space, the Galactic Council's empire contracts. On 1,000 worlds, species study Earth's gift of tactical knowledge. The warning that ensured 4,000 years of victories has become the chronicle of their defeat. All because one species had the audacity to say thank you, and mean it.